Hi everyone, welcome back to the story of Chinese characters. This is Chang here. I hope you enjoy your winter break. Let's take a look at our first character of today. Follow me. 锁, 锁. Take a look at this Asian version of the character. It looks, to me, pretty much the same with the modern one. So I'm going to go ahead and use the modern one to explain. The left side is hu to indicate the sound for the Asian version, which you could see the pronunciation changed quite a lot from in ancient time, that's hu, into the modern one, suo. Okay, and this part hu also contribute to the meaning of the character because this one hu is the meaning of hu is household, so it contribute the meaning of place to the character. And the right part, jin, you know this jin as half kilo for the measurement of weight, but in ancient time this jin is the tool axe. So for the Asian version, describe the picture like this to indicate the sound of lumbering, because when you wave the axe, it generates the sound like whoosh, whoosh, right? Also we use hu to indicate that sound in ancient time. And later in the modern time, it seems the right part lost its meaning, only keep the meaning of the left part to indicate the general meaning of place rather than household. Okay, let's take a look at the vocabulary. It's a little bit difficult for me to explain how this place fit in the meaning fit in the meaning so I'm going to skip this. Just please memorize this as a whole vocabulary. 所以, okay. And the second one is a little bit easier to explain. 有 means to have, alright, and 所 indicate the meaning place. So this is the belonging of this place. This fit in the context when the emperor claims the belonging to the place, and the emperor own all the places. So naturally, own all the belongings belongs to the place, which represents all. I want to bring up the other word do as all as well, because that do is adverb, so normally that one should be used before a verb. And this one 所有 is an adjective, so you could use this one before an object to want to include everything or all the stuff you want to mention. Okay, that's a difference, and that's a common mistake. I'm going to explain this a little bit more during our face-to-face course. Last one, 厕所, the most easy one. 所 is a place, and 厕 is generally the action to poo-poo. Okay, so this is a place when you want to go poo-poo. Next one with me, gang. Gang. This is the Asian picture. This is a mountain. These are the stuff that come out of the mountain, which indicate pretty much the stone, and we use burn the stone to forge the steel and to make them into the knife at the right side. This is the knife, okay? So the Asian picture of this to indicate the quality of the knife, which is hard and firm, or the steel, which is hard and firm. Okay, I'm going to give you this picture to explain the modern meaning just now, because the Asian version of the character, the meaning is hard and firm, and later we use this, involve the meaning from the quantity of the sword to a very short amount of time just now, because when we break a sword, or generally everything that is firm and hard, the process would be a very short amount of time rather than those stuff with flexibility. Okay, the action won't last, so it's a very short, a sudden. So we use this moment of breaking the stuff that is hard and firm to indicate meaning just now, a more blurred concept. Okay, for the left part of the modern character, gang, to indicate the pronunciation, which is exactly the same. And also this phenomenon is a little bit rare. And the right hand side, that's the knife I already mentioned. This is what it looks like when it functions as a reticle. And this is the original character of the knife, dao. Okay. And generally we have two words that's a little bit confusing. just to point out, this one gang could mean both just as a degree of, for example, the feelings, or just now, only to indicate the time, and this is an adverb. And this one, 刚才, could only indicate the time, and it's a noun. So that's the difference between these two. Okay. Let's take a look at the next one. 时, 时. I think you should be quite familiar with this one. This is the Asian version of the character. Left part, sun. Right part is different from this one because this has been simplified from this one. This is the tempo in the past, and now this right part is the character inch. Okay, so the Asian version refers to the time for 4 seasons, the time of 4 seasons, and the modern one lose the more specific meaning, just mean general time. Right part is a radical as the sun, and left part is radical as sun, and right part is twin, the character twin as inch. I'm going to use this one to help you to memorize the modern version, which is actually different from the original meaning. This is a time measurement in ancient China. Sometimes we put a ruler with a plate in here and all of this inside our water. So we open the tunnel and let the water drop, so we could measure the time using the marks on the ruler, because the ruler is going to sync with the plate, so function like an ancient clock. So you can see the left part 日 could indicate the time, and right hand side inch is this part, okay, the measurement, the ruler. I hope this could helps you to memorize the modern one. The vocabulary 平时, 平 means flat, and here to indicate normal. So normal time, often or usually. And the 时候, you already learned this one as time, and we have another word for time that is 时间. And pay attention, this one 时候. When you use this one, you normally indicate a time, to indicate the time point, and it is not specific. And when you use 时间, normally refers to a specific period of time. So that's a difference between these two. And last one, 小时, for the hour. Okay. Next one, 正. 正. This is probably the most important character, I mean the meaning, for the undergraduates in China nowadays. It means the certificate, alright? And the ancient one, 正, means to remonstrate. To remonstrate. The left part, you should be familiar about this part. This is the speech. And right part, again, really been simplified. This one means climb in the past, but now we become to use this one, 正, upright. Modern meaning is certificate as a thing, or to prove, or the provement. Okay. Left hand side speech, right hand side 正 as in the middle. As you could see the modern character here, 正 as certificate. We have all sort of certificates, and this is 中华人民共和国居民身份证. Okay, at least you should know this part, right? 身份证, this is our resident ID. Okay. When you go to China for your third year, you probably have a temporary resident certificate like this. Okay. The vocabulary, first one, 证明. 证明 as the certificate. Okay. When you use as a noun, it means this certificate. When you use as a verb, it's the same. It means to prove. And next one, 签证, this is your visa, alright? 签 means to sign, and 证 is the certificate. And 保证, 保 actually means to promise, to guarantee, and 证 means to prove. So together means to promise. Next one, 考. 考. This is the Asian version of this Chinese character. This part is the stick for this rest of the part which to represent an old person. You can see this a little bit more complicated part that could be understood as the clothes of the old man or either the wrinkle of the old person. Okay, so generally this is a picture of an old guy with the stick. And this character in ancient times is actually the same with this one. So what is this one? This is Lao as old. Okay, so Kao, Lao in the ancient time, these two are actually the same. It means the aged person. But now it involves meaning to exam. And for the above part of these three characters looks exactly the same. Actually, it is the same, okay? And I don't want you to forget about this one. This is 者 to indicate the person normally used in occupation. And when I explain this character, I use the picture a ninja with a ninja hat, and this is the ninja the body and with a ninja blade, okay? So in order for you to link those characters and better memorize it, you can memorize this as an old ninja with blade here and also a stick at the bottom, okay? And the first vocabulary as set one, 补考, the makeup exam, okay? 补 means supplementary, an add-on, and 考 is to examine. Here it is the exam. So 补考 is the makeup exam. And 考试, both 考 means to exam, 试 means to test. So altogether, the exam as a noun. And the 考虑, 考 means to exam, to think, and the 虑 means to evaluate, to concern. So altogether means to consider, to evaluate. Okay, next one looks a little bit complicated, but actually quite simple. This is the Asian version. You should start to get familiar with this part. That must be a hand, and it's grabbing this thing. And I did a little bit of research on this part. It seems we have two plausible explanations about this part. The first version is for all this square is the container for this 1-2 stroke to indicate those Asian books that made of bamboo, that is made of bamboo pieces, because at the time that paper has not been invented. So we use the ink brush to write on those bamboo sticks. So this is the container, and this is a guy holding the container of all these, let's just say, books. So this is the guy who's in charge of the books, like officer in the library in the ancient time. And another explanation is this part is just as the same as this part of the character 史 as history. Generally, it means 中 the middle, 中 the middle. Both this explanation is plausible linked to the ancient meaning of the character, the government post. The first version is to say this government post is something related to the history or the librarist officer who's in charge of all the documents. And the second saying is this part indicate in the middle, which means which indicate the justice, the unbiased. So it represents the general meaning of the government post, and also the one of the most important quality for those officers is unbiased and should seek for the justice. I found I don't know, the second one looks more interesting, but I think the first one would be more plausible. Okay, generally lose the meaning the post or the person, and only left the meaning of this part, the matter or the thing. So for now, this one is sure to indicate a more general meaning of all the matters or things. Let's take a look at the meaning of the character within the vocabulary. First one, 故事. Let's just say 事 is a matter or things, and the 故 means ancient or in the past. So if something happened in the past, altogether it means the story. And 事情, okay, So this is how we see the matter. We see 是 as the matter, as the side of the fact, and we see 情 as the feeling. So for us to solve the matter, you have to solve the matter, the fact, the problem itself, and also you need to consider about people's feeling. And the last one, 同事, 是 means matter, and here function as a verb, to work toward the matter, to work to solve the problem. And 同 means the same. So this is a bunch of guys who works together towards the same goal. That's colleague. Okay. And what we left for today is fourth season. I'm going to start with 春秋, spring and autumn. Okay. And let's take a look at Chun first. This is the Asian version. This part looks like the grass, and it is grass or crops in the past. And this part looks a little bit like a guy who's holding all the grass, but in ancient time this means 屯, which is the storage room to store all the crops, the food. And this part 日 also means sun. So this is a picture to indicate that it is the best time to put those grass out, to put those seeds for the plants out from the storage place and let them grow under the sunshine, all right, to indicate the spring, the season to grow. And radical, of course, that's the bottom part, sun. For the top part, I have two theories. You could choose which one explains better for you and helps you to memorize it. You could see this part as the combination of san 1, 2, 3 stroke here and the ba 1, 2 in here as two number. That is 3 and 8. You can memorize it as March the 8th, 3月8号, 3月8号 as March the 8th, to link it to the time of spring, March. Okay, that's one lame theory of mine. Another one is it's more lame. Sorry. This part sun, you can no longer picture it as number. I think it represents the marks that left by a person who's running so fast towards the field to grow the crops. If you know what I mean, if you could follow my jump of the ideas. So for this version is to indicate that it's a good time with sunshine and people ran so fast to the field to grow the crops. Okay, two theory, both lame, both hopefully helpful to you. Okay, let's take a look at the next character, Qiu. Start with the part you're familiar with. The right part is 火. Oh, sorry. This should be fire. Sorry, I forgot to change this. This is fire, apologize. And left part 和. That's the green and that's the radical. Okay. So for imagination, why we put green and fire all together to mean autumn? Autumn is the season to harvest, not to burn the food, okay? It is because probably, I think, for my ancestor who created this character, they live in a place with a lot of plants like this. I checked, it should be called sorghum, or just this one, check it out. So when during the time of autumn, the field of this plant will look really like a field of fire because the plant is pure red color. Looks quite beautiful, but I know this is a little bit meaningless to you. Just to remember, a field full of green that the color is the same with the fire red. For the gentleman, I have picture to secure your memory like this, okay? Just a little bit red in the field. And for the ladies, that's the best I could do. Sorry. Just memorize the picture and memorize the character. Okay, next one, winter and summer. 冬 and 夏. Okay, let's start with winter. One of my favorite season. This is the Asian version of the character. You can see the air condensed and become the ice and then dropped. That's the typical signature of winter in China. So the above part, this one is the radical. The meaning is to stop here to stop, and here we see winter as the stop, as the end of a full circle of 4 seasons in Chinese people's mind. And 2 drop, need I to mention that's the ice, okay, that's the condensed water, ice. So literally this means winter, fall, okay, winter, fall in so many ways, winter or snow or whatever. Okay, next one, 夏. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention. For the radical of this part, the above part, this is actually different from the previous one we learned from the character Fang. This right part have 2 differences. The first is how you write it. Actually, you can see this part is different. This part is longer, so for this radical is actually 4 stroke. 1, 2, 3, and 4. It means to hit slightly. That's the picture, right? A hammer on the hand to just hit the hand is sort of punishment in ancient time, as fun to banish, to first hurt the people and then banish it. Fun to put, to banish in the past, in the ancient time, the meaning to banish. And for dong, the above part is only 3 stroke. 1, 2, 3. Okay, it's not 1, 2. It's just 1. And this is shorter with this one. This is 2 stroke. This is 1. That's a difference. That's the first difference. And second one, normally this would be put at the top of the character like this. And this is normally at the right hand side of the character. So they belong to the different position. That's the difference between these 2 radical. It's a little bit confusing, sorry. And you can see this here, exactly the same. But confusingly, this one is classified as this radical here, but it has nothing to do with the meaning. This one is just a picture of 2 long legs. Let me explain through the Asian picture. The meaning changed a lot from the Asian meaning. This one, 夏, is actually to indicate the image of Asian Chinese people. I know, it is insane, okay? This part is the huge head. This part indicates head, and this probably just the giant eyes. If you know what I mean, we have some dramatic baby doll, Chinese baby doll, they have huge eyes. Better to picture that image to memorize this one, okay? Eyes, huge head, eye slash, this 2 small, tiny hand, and long leg in here. They use this to indicate the image of China, or the characteristic of Chinese people in Asian time, because we have all different sort of ethnic minorities. So they use this symbol of Chinese people. I don't really know how to involve the meaning into summer. Probably we're party people, so we like summer. This is even more. This is even older version of the character. You can see the bob part. This after the simplification, it had been put into the catalog of this radical, but actually means foot. Here, if you know this one, 足 as 足球 football, foot, okay, just the foot to the leg. Since the meaning changed so dramatically, I don't even know how to explain this. So, let's take a look at the modern one. The best I could do is give you this picture with a lady. I think that should be a lady, right? Let's just say it's a lady with a giant eye here. This part, the eye, the moo, right? The eye here, the eye, and with a hat. Ooh, just to prevent them from sunshine, because you know Chinese people, we like oh, I cannot represent Chinese people. A lot of us we like the skin color as pale white. We like the white skin for the ladies and long leg because they're running from the sunshine. It's too hot during the summertime. And just in consideration of fashion, we change this kind of hat into the more modern and appropriate one for modern times. Okay, so much for the jibber jabber of this episode. I hope you enjoy, and I will see you during our face-to-face course. I'm not quite satisfied with this unit, so if you have any question regarding the Chinese character, please bring it up during our face-to-face course. I'll explain it to you within my ability, and if I'm not, I'm going to check it out and explain it to you again. Okay? Thank you for your attention.